Hi, I'm Libby Gibson, Town Manager. Welcome to What's Going On in Town Government. We had a pretty busy meeting this week at the Board of Selectmen's meeting on May 1st. We had an update from our Energy Office, which is funded currently through a grant. The board had heard from the Energy Office in, I think, November about some policies relating to energy and the town and stuff. And they asked that they be sort of reconstituted. So our energy consultants, George Aronson and Lauren Sinatra, did that. They did a survey. They reached out to a number of people to get input and came back with something revised, which the board then adopted. So we are going to be working with them shortly on implementation, who's going to be responsible for what. Also, Lauren gave an update about home energy assessments, which can be done through the Mass Save program. It's all on the town website. They have slots available the week of May 13th. I think I'm going to have one done, Gina.
Me too.
Have you had one?
No, I want that.
There were some board members and staff that had already had one. They were very positive about it. I think I'm going to do one too. We also had an update from our steamship rep about the Hyannis Harbor situation. It's complicated. There are a lot of sort of facets to this thing. Hopefully the dredging that is needed will occur in June, but we are going to have to be a little patient until then, particularly, I guess, when there is a full moon tide thing. So if you're traveling in May or June on the steamship slow boat, you should really be aware of the tide situation, and the steamship has very regular updates on its website. Really be looking at that. So, and the town doesn't really have too much to do with it. However, one of the selectmen and I, Mr. DaCosta, and I had participated in a conference call that Congressman Keating's office, Representative Madden, steamship reps, Highline reps had on Wednesday, and our federal and state representatives seem to be completely on top of this and trying to get us in the queue as quickly as possible because of our situation. So
how does it get
people
to this
are definitely
point,
working on it.
I don't understand that.
Apparently it was the winter storms just caused a lot of shoaling in the harbor. I guess. I don't.
They have depth. They know how deep it is.
Well, even so, I guess it's just too late. You get it. There are a number of permits you have to get to dredge. It's a federal channel. There are environmental windows. Right. There's union considerations in terms of the traveling in and out. There's just a lot to it. But I don't know. Maybe this goes on the radar for the future of a regular schedule. I think if it were as easy as that it would be in place. So I don't think it's quite that easy. Anyway, we also had Captain Shannon from the fire department come in with the 2 Nantucket County winners of an arson watch poster contest. 2 6th graders, Sawyer Phillips and Julia Fisk, and they did these really neat posters, really good, very talented. And so we looked at the posters and they were congratulated. We also had a report from our solid waste consultant, who also happens to be George Aronson. He's also our energy consultant. We just love George. And he gave an update on the follow-up from the C&D construction and demolition. Is that right? Construction.
Yeah.
What's C&D stand for again?
Construction and demolition.
Yeah. Debris. Construction debris.
Okay.
I always try to say commercial. Yeah, the fire. There was a fire out there in February. Raging fire. Not raging, but very, very damaging. It went on forever. Anyway, he came and gave an update on what's happened since the fire, how the C&D material is being handled, what the plans are going forward. Our waste options representative was also there, and it seemed fairly positive. We also talked about town meeting follow-up from the 2013 annual town meeting. There's a lot of follow-up. I shouldn't say a lot. It's not like it's going to take, all of our time, but there are some significant items to follow up on, particularly space needs planning and capital project planning and financing. That is something the board really, and I too, really want to get better at. So we're going to be talking about that a little more in the coming months. We also talked about one of our favorite subjects, parking. Not my favorite subject, other people's favorite subject. We talked about residential parking permits, for one thing, and we are going to have a public hearing on June 5th to consider an amendment to our traffic regulations, traffic and parking regulations, that would allow for only one guest permit. So if you own a house in the core district where the residential parking permits are effective, you already can get really as many stickers as you want, provided that the car registration that you provide to get the sticker is registered in your name and you can prove that it's your house. If it's registered in your kid's name or your friend's name or your cousin's name, that's not going to work. But that is the system in place already. So what people tend to do, apparently, is they bring in leases and say, well, so-and-so is leasing, or I'm leasing this house and I need the sticker. The idea is to limit that to one placard, which would have an expiration date, and it would be specific to the vehicle. And so if you come in, if you're if you rent your house by the week, say, or every couple of weeks, whatever, your renter would get the one placard. And then the next renter gets a new placard and has expiration date on it. Anyway, we're going to be talking about that on June 5th. We also talked a bit about enforcement areas and times, the dates when enforcement starts. There's been some confusion about that, I think, a little bit. The enforcement dates are not all the same for the various timed parking zones. So some of it starts June 1st, some of it starts April 1st, some starts May 15th. We have a map in the office and it's online. So so one of the concerns was, oh, people are parking all day downtown, like in April. In a lot of areas, they can do that until May 15th, and then the 2-hour district goes into effect on June 1st. So check out the map if you have a question, and if they're parking all day in an area that is already being enforced, then we need to look into it. The board also talked about future planning, long-term planning, and agenda topics that they want to talk about. They kind of agreed that they want to try a sort of a workshop session routine where maybe once a month on one of their Wednesday meetings, we limit the agenda to the regular business items, but have a couple of topics that they just talk about. They don't necessarily take action. The public certainly is invited to provide input and have a dialogue. So we're going to give that a try, I think starting the second Wednesday of June, and then it would be monthly after that. So that was this week. Next week's agenda, we have a couple, we have acceptance of a gift from the Nantucket Firemen's Association of new defibrillators for the fire department. Thank you very much, Firemen's Association. It's very much appreciated. We are having our Natural Resources Department provide an update of its 5-year strategic plan. We are reviewing town infrastructure threatened by erosion. This has been an ongoing discussion for a number of months now, and the focus for this discussion is probably going to be Baxter Road. So we're talking about what options there might be. There's an area of Baxter Road that is, I would say, somewhat endangered from erosion, and if we lose that section of the road, we're going to need to figure out some alternate access points. So we're going to be talking about that. A couple other minor business items, not overly significant for next week as well. And then, Gino, let's see, what else are we doing? U.S. Fish and Wildlife is coming down next week to meet with a variety of people about their plan for, this isn't the right name of it, but the Great Point area. They control a lot of that area, and they've been working on a conservation plan. And I think their idea is they want to allow the public out there, but they want to be mindful of wildlife and the environment and stuff. So I'm going to be attending that with our Natural Resources Coordinator. We'll report back to the board on that after. Oh, here's something exciting. I'll mention this again next week. The Cape Cod and the Islands Selectmen's Association is having their monthly meeting here on Nantucket on Saturday, May 11th at the Brotherhood. They've been doing, this is maybe the 3rd or 4th even year that they've come here for that meeting. And it's really nice to meet, not too many of the town managers come over, but a couple have. But it's nice for the board, our board, to mingle and interact with their counterparts on the Cape. So it's actually kind of a fun meeting. And our guest speakers are going to be our own assessor, Debbie Dilworth, and our own selectman, Matt Fee. They are teaming up to talk about property tax assessments. That was the topic that the group wanted to hear about. So they're gonna do that. And I myself am going on the noon boat today.
Ooh.
So I'm really hoping not to be sitting on it for more than the
It's a little
normal
windy?
time. Well, it's a little windy. That's going to be problematic. Not so much for me, but for my companion.
Who's going with you?
Grace is going with me.
Oh, she gets seasick?
Yeah, she does not. She already started kind of.
Keep your eye on the horizon, Grace.
Keep your eye on the horizon. I'm trying to make her have a nap, and she said, believe it or not, she says the boat smells.
Oh.
She can't nap when something smells around her.
Okay. Well, I mean, if it's rough, it might smell.
Yeah.
Where are you going, Liz?
Oh, well, we're going off island to a, tomorrow at what am I saying, noon? I'm confused about the noon boat. I'm participating in a fundraiser for wounded veterans, sponsored by the Red Sox Foundation and Mass General and a number of other corporate sponsors. It's tomorrow morning at Fenway Park at 8 a.m. I'm on a team called the Couch Potato Ninjas. I did not come up with that name, but this is the first time I've done it. It's a 9K, and it's around the Fenway Park area. Each team member was required to raise $1,000. I raised $2,300.
Wow.
I exceeded I wanted to have a personal goal of $2,000, so I went a little bit over that, which is great. But our team captain, who is my sister-in-law, Alexis Ranney, she is spearheading the whole thing. She is incredible. And we had really great sponsorship. The fire union donated $1,500, which was terrific. She worked on them. I tried to work on the police union. They did give a generous donation of $500. I had a lot of people who really gave generous donations. So it's so much appreciated, and it's such a great, I don't know if I'm supposed to be going on about a fundraiser, but it's no benefit to me, so maybe it's okay. And it's such a good cause, wounded veterans.
A lot of Nantucketers involved? Or?
I think there are quite a few, actually. Well, I don't know about quite a few. There are some Nantucket people that are on my team, and I think maybe on other teams as well. So, I hope I'm just trying to run the whole thing. A 9K, it's like 5.5 miles. I can do it.
Sure.
Pretty sure.
Sure you can.
So it's first thing in the morning, it's at 8, and later in the day, there's a certain festival, evidently, right nearby that we're also all going to, called the Boston Beer and Bacon Festival. Never been, but I've heard that it's really fun.
Sounds good.
Sounds
you like
good.
Bacon?
Who doesn't like bacon?
I know. That's becoming a big thing lately.
Now, a bacon milkshake, I don't know
They're
about
putting it in
that.
everything.
But maybe it's good. I'll give it a try. So that's what I'm doing this weekend.
Well, good for you, Lev.
Yeah, I'll report back.
All right.
Anything else?
No, nothing else.
Okay, so thanks very much. See you next time.